Hello and welcome to Booked and Showing Up Winning Strategies to Keep Patients on Your Schedule. My name is Zach Johnson, Marketing and Communications Manager here at Edge. I'm here joined with Angela Davis Sullivan. A little bit about Angela. Angela Davis Sullivan is a powerhouse in dental practice growth, blending 30 plus years of hands-on experience with bold, results-driven coaching. From chairside to C-suite, she's done it all and now helps dental teams and leaders rise to their full potential. A dynamic speaker, published author, and trusted voice in top industry publications, Angela transforms practices from the inside out. Her mission: build strong systems, grow confident leaders, and turn chaos into clarity with heart, humor, and grit. With that, I want to turn the time over to Angela. Thank you so much for being here with us.
Thank you so much for having me. I am excited, get my PowerPoint up, about this topic because we hear about it all of the time um, in practices where it is, what do we do? What's going to happen? Why are they not showing up? Why doesn't my schedule stay the way it looked at 8 o'clock yesterday, at 3 o'clock today? All those things keep happening. So I get it. It can be a daily battle. And I know if you're working on the business team and you look at that schedule and you think, that's perfect. And then you go to the bathroom and you come back and you're like, who canceled that? What happened? And you're all like, well, who took that call? Why did they cancel? What happened? So we're going to dive into those kind of things right now. So let's get started. So there can be lots of reasons why patients decide to no show, which is horrible, or cancel, which is less horrible because at least you know it's coming and you got that heads up that you're not going to have somebody at 9 o'clock. They both impact your schedule, impact your team, impact your goals that you're trying to hit for the day, affect your doctor. I mean, if you're anything like some of the doctors I know and the schedule's wide open, where are they? They come up to the front desk to figure out what's what's happening. Where's that patient? Why did they not show? What'd you say? How'd you say it? Did we confirm it? All of those things. But here are the big ones that happen. It's fear. I mean, there is a recent study that in almost 40% of the population has a fear of going to the dentist. And of those, somewhere between 10 and 15% of those patients have a severe fear of going to the dentist. So it's a real thing. And I know we see this, but so it's real. People really are afraid of the what ifs, more than sometimes the pain that they're already in. So fear's a big motivator. They have the courage to make the call and then they chicken out. It happens. Money. Money is always in this top five, right? We hear it all the time. From I don't have money. I can't pay for that. Ooh, my insurance doesn't cover all of that. How many times do you hear that? Right? Money comes up. I can't do my crown this month. I'm going on a cruise. Okay. Is that money or is that priorities? Good question, right? Money's a big one when people no show or cancel, or they don't understand how much they have to pay that day or why they have to pay that much. Then there's the other things, let's call them. People truly forget. I don't know how. With the way that most of our practices are trying to send reminders, I mean, there's text messages, there's phone calls, there's emails, there's smoke signals. I mean, what are we doing to get patients here? And that's what we're looking for. Yeah, those things happen. And we want to figure out, okay, how do we help prevent them from forgetting and not irritate them with the number of messages that we get? The other one is low value. And you're probably asking yourself, well, what does that even mean? So when we talk about how do we create value for what we're doing, what services we're providing, what we're doing for our patients. And sometimes in our practices, we don't do a good job of creating that value for why they should be there, why they should move forward with treatment, while it's important to come in for their hygiene therapy appointments, right? We unintentionally create a lower value for those things. And then there's the things that sometimes we can't control. That's schedule challenges. It happens. We're going to have the patient that's truly sick. We're going to have the flat tire on the way to the practice. We're going to have true emergencies that come up in their personal schedule that keeps them out of your office. And those are the things that we have little or no control over, but it's how we handle it when we get it that can have an impact on that. All right, makes sense? Good. So when we talk about how to increase the strategies to get commitment, like how do you know that you get a real yes? I don't know about you, but have you ever said yes to something and you weren't even 100% guilty, right? So what do you think our patients do? They say the same thing. It's not unusual for them to say, "Yeah, that sounds great." And in their head, they may already be going, "I'm not doing that. I'm not keeping that. Not going to happen." So we know that we have to do something different to increase that commitment. And the ways that we can do that: value statements, pre-framing our patients, micro agreements. Like, what does that even mean? And I'll show you how to do that. It's a lot of fun. How do we future pace this to get a commitment? And sometimes it comes down to what's the why? Why do I need to come in? Why is this important to me, the patient? Not only to us as we're trying to run a schedule and keep people coming in and do all the things that we need to do for patients. There was a study recently, too, about the new patients. And what they determined was that when a new patient makes an appointment in your practice, they they call you. They say yes to an appointment time and day that you've given them, and they hang up and they call 2 to 3 other offices and make an appointment as well. And you think, who has that much time? Right? Here's the thing. They're still looking for something that's going to get them to that commitment. And something's going to happen between the time they said yes to you to that time and the yes to these other times that they made that's going to help solidify them choosing you and actually commitment to your appointment. Seems crazy, but that's what happens. So how do we stand out? How are we different? And so when you talk about strategies to increasing this commitment, it's not only the default of saying, "Did you confirm it?" We know that we've had patients on our schedule that we confirmed, they confirmed, and they still no show or cancel. So it's not about that confirmation process. It's about all these other things that we do. How do we create value? How do we create urgency? How are we pre framing them? How are we setting them up for success? I'll give you a little tip. New patients, usually the highest rate of no show, right? Usually they don't know you. They don't have any relationship with you yet. That's why when we work on increasing that, we work on that relationship on the phone right from the get-go. One way to really close the gap with new patients coming in, you ready? Having the doctor confirm the appointment. I know you're thinking there's no way my doctor is going to pick up the phone and confirm an appointment. Not about that. It's about calling, and a lot of times you're going to leave a message, and the doctor is going to say, "Hey, Angela, saw you on my schedule for Tuesday. Welcome to our practice. Let us know if you need any other directions here. If you have any questions, I look forward to meeting you." And that's it. Patients are blown away that the doctor took time to welcome them to the practice. They're going to show up because that's different than anywhere else. And there's little cheats that you can do around that too, with text messages from the practice that seem like it's coming from the doctor. Personalizing those things all help. But that's one way that you really can get good at closing that gap with new patients. If you've got new patient coordinators that are going to see that new patient, that's my second favorite. I'm going to call them and say, "Hey, Angela, welcome to the practice. I am Michelle. I'm going to be working with you on Tuesday. Any questions you have before your appointment, you know how to get here. Plan on being here about an hour, 90 minutes, whatever your protocols are. And I look forward to meeting you then." Again, it's that increased value, starting to build that relationship. I'm different than the office down the street. All right, so let's get into some of these. So, what are value statements? Value statements are added comments that we can say to our patient on the phone, new to us or existing, or that we say chairside that helps create value, right? No matter what we're talking about, our doctors have advanced training in this. Our doctors are so good at X, Y, and Z. Right? We want to make sure our patients understand that our doctors are the best. So we got to tell them. We get to brag on our doctors or our hygienist or anybody on our team. Anytime that they are with patients, you can say, "Oh, good, you're with Audrey today. She is so sweet. You're going to have a great visit with her." Okay, that is a value statement. We pride ourselves on individualized care. We personalize it just for you. Value statement. We're not running cattle through here. We're taking our time to get to know you. That's a value statement. Dr. Harper is so gentle. You are going to love her. Value statement. We're reserving this time just for you. We want to make sure that Dr. Harper has time just for you. We're creating value. A lot of times when we talk about value statements with our teams, this is something you guys get to create together. And I would work on coming up with about 10 statements that you can have in your back pocket that you can use on the phone or chairside that helps create the value for what you're doing. A lot of times, if you're spending money on marketing and you're highlighting uh, specific services, right? You want to add a value statement that matches that. Oh, yes, doctor does a lot of those. He has advanced training in X, Y, and Z, right? Now, other doctors may have it too, but if they're not talking about it, there's no value statement there for them. This sets you apart. This helps you elevate your status. Oh my gosh, he's got advanced training in that. Well, anybody who does it probably does too, but it's how we talk about it and how we brag on our doctors and that we are looking for and always searching out the best treatments and always staying up to date with our training. We want our patients to know that. So, coming up with your own set of value statements. One way to do this is to look at your reviews. What do patients already say about you? What are you hearing chairside or at checkout or check in about you? Oh my gosh, you guys are so friendly. Dr. Barr is so sweet. Dr. Kiefer is so good. Oh my gosh, I didn't feel a thing. Those can be worked into your value statements and make them together as a team so you guys all feel good about saying them. And they got to be true. That's the other part. They got to be true. So, what are patients saying about you? What do you want them to know about you that maybe they don't know about you? About the advanced training, about the skills that this doctor has. A lot of times, too, if you've had work done by that doctor, that's another added value. Oh, I trust them completely. He works on me. They work on my family. This is the only place I would go. Those are value statements that help solidify the commitment to choosing you and showing up for you. Now let's talk about pre-framing your patients. Like, what do you mean? How do we do that? And how does this helps create value? It reinforces that value and the commitment for the appointment time that you're holding. Here's what's going to happen. So this can be on the phone or again, chairside. Confirmations are not the only thing that is having your patients no show or cancel. It's not about the confirmation process very often. It's all the things we do in addition to that. So that's why we pre-frame our patients. So if I'm with a patient in hygiene and I'm scheduling their next hygiene therapy appointment 3 months, 4 months, 6 months from now, I'm going to pre-frame them with what's going to happen. I'm going to go ahead and reserve Tuesday at 8 for you. I know you love that 8 a.m. And here's what's going to happen. About 2 weeks before, you're going to get a text message. And when you get that, if you'll double check your schedule, check the date and time, and go ahead and confirm that. After you confirm it, then you're going to get a reminder a week out, and then 2 days before, and then 2 hours before. We just like to help keep us on your mind. We know how busy you are, so that's what will happen, right? So we want to pre-frame them with this is what's going to happen. So now they're not surprised. How many times have patients said to you, "Oh my gosh, you send me so many messages," but they never actually hit yes or say no, or so that you get more when you don't follow the protocols, right? Because they're going to keep reminding them until they get that confirmation. So we have to let them know, here's what I need you to do. And sometimes it's nice if they've not ever done it before, or maybe some of our little older patients with their email or on their phone. Hey, when you get it, here's what it looks like. Hit this or type Y, whatever your system is, and that way I know you're coming. And then the next ones will just be your reminders. We want to stay top of mind for you, right? So let them know what's happening. Here's what's to expect. Tell them what we're going to do that visit. We're going to be working on the lower right. Or next time when you come in for your hygiene therapy appointment, you're going to be due for x-ray, so we'll be updating those at your next appointment. Now, will they remember that part 6 months from now? Maybe, maybe not. But it helps plant the seed of value for what you're going to do and what you're checking. You can always tell them what you're doing, and I'm going to check that upper left area again for you when you come back. You let me know how it's doing. Right? So we're pre-framing our patients. It's important to reserve your time now. I know you don't know what you're doing in 6 months from now. So I know you like those 8 o'clocks. If you want an 8 o'clock, let's go ahead and reserve it now. And remember, you're going to get a confirmation 2 weeks before, double check it. Or if something pops up, 2 months from now, call us. We'll find you at 8 o'clock. On the doctor's schedule, let's reserve your time now. Our schedule gets very busy. I know you like 8 o'clock, 4 o'clock, Tuesdays, whatever it is that you've listened to them say, so you got to pay attention, then that's what you tap into. Let's reserve your time for you. Reserve, another good word, right? Let's reserve that time for you. Here's what we're going to do on that visit. Plan on being here. So you're pre-framing them for the whole appointment, right? Oh my gosh, I thought I was only going to be for like 30 minutes. Oh, no. So we want to go ahead and let them know, hey, you're going to plan on being here for 2 hours. It probably won't take that long. You're not going to be open the whole time, but just block your schedule for 2 hours and we'll get you out of here. We're going to take great care of you, right? So patients are pre-framing themselves and you're helping plant the seed that's specific to them that gets that commitment. Because right now, if you're telling me 2 hours and I have an objection to that on that Tuesday because of what I usually do, then they're going to say that, you know what, then if it's going to be 2 hours, then I better do a morning, a Thursday, whatever. You're going to handle those much sooner rather than it getting to that day and them calling and saying, oh, I forgot I have baseball on Tuesday afternoons. I can't do that because you need 2 hours, right? Yeah. So pre-frame anything that you can for your patients. Set that expectation. Let them know that that's just for them. We're reserving that time just for you, especially in that doctor schedule. That creates that's another way to create that value, right? That's just for you. I've got you with our hygienist, Audrey. She's going to take great care of you. Using the name of the people that they're going to see also helps. All these things, when you add them up, help create that commitment that yes, that I'm in it with you for them. Micro agreements. These are fun. How do we get people to say yes to us and be in agreement with us little steps at a time, right? Are Tuesdays typically good for you? So if they say yes, now we're in agreement. I'm going to look for a Tuesday. Great. I know you like those Tuesdays. Or maybe it's the afternoons. Or afternoons usually your favorite, right? Before you have to get the kids. Like, and if we're taking note and keeping track of our patients, then we know this. And we're able to use that to help them commit to 100% that appointment, right? We're not getting them to just say yes so that you can say, "Oh, I scheduled all of my patients today." Right? We want to actually get the commitment for them. Block your calendar for 2 hours. Go ahead and block your calendar. And you're looking at that with them. That's a micro agreement. Again, I'm reserving this time just for you. So I could get Dr. Barr to focus just on you for that time. Oh, that's great. Micro agreements. And you can come up with some others as a team. So what are some of your other phrases that you guys could use on a regular basis? And the more you use them together, that means the patient's hearing it from the business team, from the clinical assistant team, from the hygiene team, right? It's planting those seeds of consistency, which helps nurture the value and create the commitment. And that's what we're looking for. How do we get that commitment? How do we help people say yes and move forward? Those are the ways we do it. Again, we're going to go back to the future pacing them. Let them know what is going to happen. What are we doing on this visit? Again, they may or may not remember, but when every time that we do that, we're creating value for what the doctor is prescribing for them to do treatment wise, or what the hygienist is prescribing for them come back for, right? So those are our bookends for how we create that commitment for that appointment. They've got to see the value in that and know what we're coming back for. At this visit, we will do this. What questions do you have? Different than a yes or no, right? So we want to ask questions that can't be answered with just yes or no. We want solid stuff. They have to say, I don't have any questions, or I can't think of any right now. Again, it just helps cement that commitment to what you're saying, what treatment has been prescribed for you, when they need to do it, that urgency, they get the commitment. We don't want a yes just to get a yes. We want a yes because they believe in this treatment as well. They want what's next. They want the treatment that's been prescribed. They want to stay on that hygiene 6 month maintenance or 4 month or 3 month, whatever it is, they believe it too. And that's our job. That's our job. We have to educate our patients for what's next, why they're coming back, why it matters, which brings us to the why, right? How good are you at your documentation? Because this is a really critical piece that the whole team can use when we have the no shows, cancellations, or I can't decide about treatment we're following up with. So, one of those things is around risk factors. You know, you're high risk for cavities, you're high risk for periodontal disease, you're high risk for function. This is why doctor is prescribing a night guard for you. So when they know the why, stronger commitment. That's their issue, their issue. You might not be high risk, right? But the patient is. And our job is to let them know this is what we see and this is how we fix it or slow it down or try to maintain it. And here's why it matters to you. So we've got to spend time chair side on the education piece that leads to the commitment that makes it really hard for them to cancel or no show because they're committed. They're going to be in that last little group of something crazy happened, and that's why they can't make it, right? We want to be able to share that. So Get with your team and know how are we documenting this? Where are we documenting it? Mm. So that anytime I'm talking to a patient that I haven't seen, I can read those notes and go, oh, yeah, that was prescribed to you because you're high risk for caries. Do you remember them talking about the number of cavities that you have and that you drink a lot of soda and sugary drinks all day? Yeah, that's why we want to get you in here and get those fillings taken care of. And let's talk about how we cut back on that stuff. Right. So if I can tie that in, so now they're calling to cancel, I can tie that in. I can say, oh, are you sure you can't make it today? Because I know you're high risk for caries. That was a big concern that doctor had. Now, if they have to change it, that's okay. But I've got something to tie it to that commitment, increased value. It's serious. It's not just your hygiene visit, right? Anybody, and I know what we do. We try to make it like it's going to be an easy appointment, right? It's just your cleaning. Well, those are the words of, the kiss of death there. Just, did that create value or diminish value? Diminish value, right? Cleaning. And I know that's what we call it. I know that's what patients call it. And we can use other words and still say, yes, you know it as a cleaning, but that's your hygiene therapy appointment. And here's what we're doing on that visit. I'm checking for X, Y, and Z. We're updating x rays. We're checking your periodontal health. That creates value. So we have to be careful about the words that we use when we're doing this. It's important too. We want to get this done before it gets worse. You already had sensitivity. You were already concerned about that food trap area. I can already, we can see this on the x ray. Remember, I showed you those kind of things. And then when we're talking to our patients, are we talking to them? Are we capturing what's important to them? From what you shared with us, this is going to help you get to your goal. Right? So when we're doing those appointments, and look, it's new patients and existing. That's it. Are we having the conversations, higher level conversations that share with us and the team what's important to them? What motivates them, right? What's going to help them get committed to their disease, their problem, or the goals that they want? You wanted a healthy smile. You didn't want to have toothaches in the middle of the night anymore. Here are the things that we can do to help you with that. So we've got to do a little bit of work on our end, on the front end, that help us say and get more yeses. Okay. Diving into the why. Here it is. You got emotion and logic too, right? I'll tell you that when we're excited about stuff, patients get excited about stuff, whatever it is, even when we're fixing things. So we've got to know the benefits of moving forward. And if you don't know these, this is another piece of that great team meeting you can have to go, guys, let's all review what are the benefits of a patient coming in for their regular 6-month hygiene therapy appointments, their perio maintenance appointments. What's the benefits of doing our fillings when after we've diagnosed them and doctor has prescribed the filling treatment for them or their crowns? What are the benefits? So that when a patient has a question or an objection, we can say, here's why we do that. Here's why doctor prescribed that for you, right? And then what's the risk of doing nothing? Because doing nothing is definitely an option for a patient. I'm going to wait until it falls out. It hurts and I can't sleep. But we also can use verbal skills around that. I understand that. And I hope it's not on a Friday or Saturday when we're not here. I can help prevent that from happening to you. And here's what we can do. So, also knowing the risks of not doing something so that you can share them with your patients, just so they know, hey, I want to share something with you. I know that you don't want to do this right now. You're afraid, you don't have the money. Here's what the risks are. It's going to get bigger. We don't ever see cavities get smaller. I don't want you to have a toothache. Here's one thing I love about my doctor. Very conservative. So when she says it's time to do something, it's time to do something. So let's get it before it gets bigger. What questions do you have? How can I help you? Now, if that goes back to money, you've got options. What can you share with your patient? Hey, you're not the only one. Hey, have you heard of let's use Care Credit. Use Cherry. We can do this in two payments for you. We've got to make it easy for them to say yes and get over that objection. And then my favorite three, and you've probably used this before in your life and know this one, feel, felt, found. This one is so nice to use on the phone, chair side, whenever you're talking to a patient and they have an objection. I understand how you feel. So now what? Now you're connected to them. They are not alone. This is not the only time it's ever happened. I know you've had people in your chair who come in and say, "Oh my gosh, this must be the worst mouth you've ever seen." I mean, sometimes it is, but we don't say that, right? We're saying, "No, you're okay. You're here now," right? So I understand how you feel. We've had other patients that felt that same way. And here's what we found. When I offered them Care Credit, when I offered them nitrous, when I offered them sedation, they were able to do the treatment and they were so happy for it. What questions do you have for me? So feel, felt, found. Write that down, stick it somewhere, and know that you can use it. And look, and you've probably got examples, real examples of patients in your practice already who have felt that way and you have helped them. So share those as a team so that everybody can have something to pull from. Doesn't have to be your story. I can use Taylor's story, right? And say she had a patient one time and that's exactly the way they felt and here's what we found. Here's what we did to help them. So this takes practice because you have to go into it naturally when they have that objection. So write down your common objections. What are the most common things people say? Well, we know it's fear, time, and money, right? So, what are our answers for that? Objections about money. It's so expensive. Is it going to hurt? Why doesn't my insurance cover it? That's probably our favorite right now, right? Why doesn't insurance cover all of that? Are they only covering that much? How am I going to pay for the rest of that? Why is it so expensive? They're going to have their questions, they're going to have their objections. Our goal is to have an answer for those, a good answer for those, other than, yeah, that's expensive. Yeah, I know your insurance stinks. Those things may be true, and we want to feel that way with them. But how do we help them overcome those objections so that we can get to the treatment that they need and they're committed to it? And they're not just saying yes so they can get out of in front of you and get out the door, knowing that they're never going to come, right? We want them committed to it 100%. Using technology, we have come a long way in how we confirm appointments. I mean, when I first started in dentistry a long time ago, I mean, it was just the good old telephone, and you called them at work or you called them at home. People answered their phone. That's another amazing thing, right? They answered their phone and they said yes or no to you. And then we've rolled out all this technology between emailing, text messages, that communicates with people. So you've got to look at your system, whatever you're doing. And hey, there's nothing wrong with a phone call. I still believe that some patient should be confirmed with a phone call, right? So you want to know when you're going to do it, what you're going to do, and then how often. And that's why we pre-frame our patients too. Like a lot of those automated services, they start, you can customize it, but it's 2 weeks out. And if they confirm it then they only get the reminder 1 week before, 2 days before, 2 hours before, or something similar to that. If they don't confirm on that first one, they're going to keep getting that one every day leading up to that appointment. And that can stress people out. But if they would read it and hit yes, then that would stop and it would move on. So that's why we pre-frame our patients. If someone is aggravated with, oh my God, you send me 100 text messages. How do you want to handle it as a team? What do you want to say? I know you're so good. You do come all the time, but we have to do this for so many patients because people are so busy and they try to forget about us, right? So make it fun, make it light. Hear them. I understand. I get it. And here's why we do it. And I'm glad you're here. Thanks for being one of those ones that always show up no matter what, right? Personalize messages whenever you can. A lot of those technologies allow you to have the patient's name or preferred name and then the office, all that stuff. If you haven't heard from them, you also have that two-way communication where you can personally text them, right? Hey, I noticed you hadn't confirmed yet. Dr. Harper wanted me to reach out and just double check she's got that time reserved just for you. What questions do you have? Right? That's a personalized message, and you can type it in there and send it super quick. You could create a Word document of your canned responses, let's say, or messages, and just copy and paste. And it's still personalized. If you're looking for hygiene appointments, I mean, use the hygienist's name. Hey, this is Audrey. I'm looking forward to seeing you tomorrow. Any questions about your appointment at 9? So now they think that their personal hygienist is doing it. Audrey's back there taking care of patients. She didn't have time to text message, but the patient feels like they're connected to them and we're checking it. And look, and Audrey did want to know if Sydney was coming today or tomorrow, right? So we can still use that. Yes, everybody's confirmed. Talk to all of them. Got them. And then figure out what works. Like layer those messages. Is it email first or email and text message? And then it's the personalized text message. And how often do we do it? At what point are we looking at our schedule and going, why has this person not confirmed? Are we just going to talk about it? Or like, what's the strategy? Like, you see it. I know if you're the business team, you're looking. Like, at what point do you want to take action? So decide what that is. Is that 3 days before and I haven't heard from them? I'm picking up the phone and I'm sending a different but personalized message to them, right? To get that commitment, to ask the question, hey, we're looking forward to seeing you. Please give me a call back. Please text me back. Something. And there's ways to create some urgency around that. If you get really good at this and you've got a really big pool of your quick fill list or short call list of people that you can move into that spot, hey, if I don't hear from you by noon today, I'm going to go ahead and move that off and we'll find you another time. That will get people to move and take action. Another good trick is just to say, hey, can you call me? I have a real quick question for you. And when they call, because they're curious, like, what does she want to ask me? Then you can say, hey, I've got you down for 9 tomorrow with Audrey. I just want to make sure that was still a good time for you. Oh, yeah, 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 I'll be there. Great. Right? But we create that curiosity, that little bit of, I wonder what she wants with me. They get to get them to pick up the phone. You might get away with that a couple times using that. So you've got to get some clear office policies, some written agreements on what are we going to do? Is there a penalty? Is there not? Are we taking a deposit or not? What if they don't show up 14 times? At what point do we charge them or just miss them? All of those things. And it's so stressful to decide in the moment. So why not do it in advance and just go, here's our written agreements. Here's how we're going to confirm. And look, confirmation is not just that email and text message that goes out 2 weeks in advance. Confirmation starts when we actually make the appointment. We create value for what we're going to do. Okay. So, what's our written agreements around this? What do we do if someone doesn't show? Who are we going to call even if they confirmed? So, for me personally, I I have all my offices. I want you to call all the new patients and welcome them to the practice, confirmed or not. If I can get the doctor to do it, even better. That's gravy. I love it. And a lot of times it is you're leaving a voicemail because they're not going to answer the phone. But then when they listen to it, they're like, oh, dang, that was nice. So whether it's the new patient coordinator, a business team member, or the doctor, we're calling all new patients to welcome them to the practice. I look forward to meeting you on the 15th at 2. Call me if you have any questions. Right? No pressure. That's easy. I'm going to call all, let's say, big cases, whatever that is for your office. Thank you for confirming. I've got you down for Thursday at 8 o'clock. I wanted to remind you not to eat anything, or did you have any questions? You're going to be here a couple hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, whatever it is. You know, just wanted to touch base with you. Excuse me. So those appointments still get a phone call. Decide what you want that to be for your office and write it down. And then we've got deposits. So one rule of thought was, hey, if everybody pays a deposit, no one will never not show again. That true? Not always. 'Cause we're still going to have those people that are emergencies, or we're going to have people that's like, I don't care, it's 25 bucks. I'm not going. It doesn't help create commitment if you still don't have value for what you're doing. And look, I'm not opposed to deposits. I love deposits. New large cases. What percentage do you want to put down to schedule? Right? If that's something you want to do in your practice, just get everybody on the same page for that and go, any big cases over X dollars or time, we're going to do a 20% deposit at scheduling to hold and reserve that time. Or maybe it's going to be, I need $50 to reserve any appointment with the doctor. Okay. I've got practices that do that. And that's just their standard operating procedure. And it works. I've got people that do, a $25 deposit and people still don't show because we haven't worked on the value piece yet. So if you're going to do deposits, decide what it is, train on how we're going to say it and present it to the patient, because that's interesting part if you've never done it before. How are we going to create value for that? How are we going to talk about it? How are we going to show them that this is worth it? And then if they don't show, what percentage are they going to lose or forfeit in that, if anything? So what are the consequences? Are there fees for no-shows and cancellations? I mean, do we arbitrarily just send out this letter because they didn't show up? Does that do anything for people anymore? So what do you want it to be? Is there a fee? Is there a letter? Is there a phone call? If they do it, how many times before they don't get anything unless it's same day? And then who's going to have that conversation with the patient? Because that's fun. Right? I think a lot of times we miss that opportunity because we don't want to have that difficult conversation with the patient that says, hey, you are standing us up all the time. What's going on? Do you not want to get this done? Are we not picking a good time and day for you? But most of the time we don't. We just complain about it. So when are we going to have these tough conversations with our patients? What are we going to say? What's our next step going to be? Listen, red flags. We already know new patients, highest no show rate. We can stop that. We're going to personally call them a new patient coordinator, a business team member. If we can get the doctor to do it, oh, golden. Welcome to the practice. If patients have a history of no show and cancellations, and we know it, and they know it, what are you doing about it? A lot of times we don't say anything. How about we work on some verbal skills that say, hey, you have no showed on us 3 times. So I'm reserving this time for you with Audrey for your hygiene visit. Are you sure this is a good day and time for you? Because if not, next time you're just going to have to call me a day that you're available, and I'm going to see if I've got anything open that day that I can get you in. Is that fair enough? Can we agree to that? But that's hard to have a conversation like that. We got to practice that. We got to get ready for that. We got to be prepared to have that conversation. How many of you, oops, wrong way. How many of you have a gut feeling and I know they're not coming? And everybody at morning huddle will say, oh, I'll bet you lunch William doesn't show up today. What do you think? So if you have that gut feeling, what are you going to do about it? Are we just going to sit there and wait for him not to show? Are we going to do something? What's our strategy going to be moving forward? Am I double booking him? And if he shows up, we figure it out, or we say, oh, we didn't hear from you. Oh my gosh, our schedule is so full. You have got to confirm with us. And you haven't, and you've no showed, 2 times before. So we really didn't know where you were on this. Right? Again, tough conversation. But are we going to have it? Or are we going to let it slide? And a lot of times our guts are right. I don't know about you, but we're pretty good, right? We know who's not going to show. We heard it in their tone. They weren't committed. How many times have you hung up the phone and go, they're not going to keep that appointment? Then why do we make it? We've got to get good at having those tough conversations early. So create your plan and execute it. Okay. Now what? They're late. That's another one. What's your policy? Document this. If it's 5 minutes after, we're calling right away. I'm going to show concern. Hey, Bree, we were expecting you at 9 and it's almost 10 after. I just want to make sure everything's okay. Give me a call when you get this. Right? Not threatening, right? If I get them on the phone, let me reschedule you. Let's go ahead and reserve some more time. Let's pick a day or time that we know is gonna work. Was that 8 o'clock too early for you? Is 9 o'clock traffic bad? Do you not get off on Tuesdays? Like, ask the questions, right? Let's get them back on track with that. I want to re-engage them. For the most part, you're going to reach a point with your habituals that you're like, I'm not scheduling them anymore, and that's okay. Let Quit letting them eat up your schedule. Just have your protocols, like who is that going to be? What's that going to be? Right? And then if they're late, if they come running in the door at 6 minutes after, 10 minutes after, whether it's for hygiene or restorative, what's your protocol? Now, personally, I say for most restorative stuff, you can make that time up. But here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to say, oh my gosh, I'm so glad you made it. We were so worried about you because it's almost 10 after. Let's get you back real quick and let's get started. Let's see what we can get done today. Now, hygiene, they're going to maybe not always be happy. They're going to say, I can't do it all. They're already 10 minutes late. What am I going to do? If they've walked into the door, I'm going to address that they're late, but I'm going to go seat them and we're going to do what we can do today. And sometimes that means x-rays and exam. I might have to have you come back for your hygiene therapy. All right. But know what your plan is. How are we going to handle this moving forward? I don't want to turn anybody away who made it through the door, but I do have to address the issue of them being late. So don't pretend it didn't happen. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad you made it. I was worried about you. Let's get you back. You're about 10 minutes late. Let's see what we can do in the time we have remaining. So I know, and I've shared with them that they know that they're late. So we're addressing the elephant in the room right then. So then when I'm making their next one, I can say, hey, so you were late. Is this 10 o'clock not good for you? Let's pick a time that we know is good. Is your lunch hour better? Go ahead and handle it right there. Don't be afraid of it. Don't be afraid of it. Um, Now you've got time. Let's take some action. Create your agreements. Your scheduling verbal skills, review that. What are we saying? How are we creating value for those future appointments? Your confirmation verbal skills, whether that's written communications or on the phone, leaving messages or talking to a patient. What are we saying? I'm not a fan of, I'm just calling to confirm. That does not create value. I'm looking forward to seeing you. We're looking forward to seeing you. Dr. Barr is looking forward to seeing you. Those are the things we want in there. Create your guidelines and then start practicing it. Practice it. All right. If you scan these two, one of them is scheduling phrases and tips that you can use that are super helpful. And then there's a list of power words. I gave you kind of a few examples tonight that you heard words I don't like and words I do like that you may have heard and picked up on. So you are welcome to use any of those and print them out and see what resonates with you. Not all of them, they still got to sound like you. And they have to match your practice, but there are some words that we should stay away from. So those are on there. So feel free to use any of those and get those tools for support. You can also schedule time with me. If you wanted to do a follow-up questions or just pick my brain for about a half an hour on a burning question about that or how I can help you create your agreements and stuff, here's the calendar link with me that you can use to schedule some time with me. Get that. And I got one more resource for you. This is a great cheat sheet for notes for your software. Great, great tool that makes it easier, helps everything run smoother and get you paid. And you can read back that stuff and get information that you need when creating value for those future appointments, which is what we all want. All right, I'll leave it there with my calendar. Thank you guys for paying attention. I hope you picked up one or two pearls that you can use starting tomorrow to close that gap with that cancellations and no-shows.
Thank you so much, Angela. It was such a great session. We have a couple questions. We'll also open the time up to other questions, but one
Okay.
of the questions that we have is when we talk to patients about the concerns, do we use dental terms like we're checking your periodontal health, or do we use regular terms like checking your gum health?
Great question. And this is where we can use the words we want to use, dental words, to create the value. So I'm going to say I'm going to check the overall health of the periodontal condition to check your risk factors for that to see where you are. What that means is I'm going to be checking your gums. I'm looking for deep pockets and any bleeding. I want to make sure you're healthy. So you kind of use both of them. And you do that with caries. I'm going to check your caries risk. What does that mean? I might say your cavities. We're going to see what where you line up for your risk of cavities. Tell me what you're doing at home. Tell me what you drink. Okay, that puts you at high risk. And let's look at these X-rays. You've got caries going on in between your teeth. You've got cavities in between your teeth. So you sprinkle in both words, but that helps create the value for it instead of dumbing it down so much that we devalue what we actually do for our patients. Great question.
We have another question. I think this goes back to something you said earlier. Would they lose the deposit if they reschedule?
Great question. So for most practices, the answer is no. It'll go on to the next one. So you have to be careful with taking a deposit on what's going to happen with it. Each state is different on whether that's collectible income or not. The same thing with a cancellation or no-show fee. I can post $50 no show fee, and in many states it is an uncollectible debt. So it's a great tool to threaten, but I would look at how do we make sure we're creating value for what we're doing, or if we want to get rid of that patient anyways, then I can use that as a tool.
That's great. And then another question, is this recorded to see later? And yes, it will be recorded and available on our YouTube page. So be sure to subscribe and um, you can see that soon. Um, Another question that we have here. How do you handle patients who never answer calls or texts?
Yeah, good luck, right? Those are tough. That's why the pre-framing is so important. And if it's a new patient and I'm on the phone with them, I'm going to tell them, welcome to our practice. I've got this time reserved for you. Here's how we communicate with our patients majority of the time. You're going to get a phone call. I know you're busy. You might not be able to answer. We also text. And so when you get that text about your appointment, could you do me a favor? And I pause and I wait for the patient to say yes, because they're not going to say no. No one's ever said no. I hope that doesn't happen. I'm going to say, could you do me a favor? Yeah. Okay. When you get that, check the date and time and then send me a text back confirming that with me or say yes to that for me. Can you do that for me? So 2 times I do that. So that's those micro agreements as well. I'm asking them to do it. It's real important for our schedule. And if I have to, I'd explain why. We're super busy. We got people waiting for these times. I just need to make sure that you're getting these messages and that we're going to see you on that day and time.
Yeah, that seems like a universal problem.
Yeah.
So super helpful. So thank you for that. Um, okay. Another question that we have is, can you share an example of language that instantly builds commitment before an appointment?
Yeah, it kind of depends on what the appointment is for. So if I'm in hygiene and I'm making their next hygiene appointment, um, if I want to encourage that commitment, I'm going to be eye to eye with them. I'm going to say, Angela, it was great to see you today. We got all this done. I'm going to put you on 6 month therapy appointment. So that's going to take us to April. I don't know whatever that is. April. Um, let's go ahead and reserve some time for you and I in April. Are Mondays still the best day for you? Because if it's a Monday, I'm going to assume they like Mondays. If it's an 8 o'clock, I'm going to assume they like the 8 o'clock. They're going to tell me if that's not right. So I'm going to say reserve. That's a big commitment eliciting word, right? So we want to say that. I want to say, let's go ahead and reserve that time for you and me. So she knows that she's going to see me next time. And our Monday's still a good day for you. All right, let's do April 14th. Let's do the 8 a.m. again. Does that sound good? Yes, great. I look forward to seeing you then. I can't wait to hear how your trip went, the grandbaby is, school is, whatever it is that we've talked about in that time frame. Then I add, and don't forget on that visit, I'm going to go ahead and update your x-rays, or I'm going to be updating your periodontal charting. We're going to check that gum health again at that visit. All right, so I give them something that we're looking at as well. If I'm on the doctor's side and trying to get that commitment, again, I'm eye to eye. What questions do you have about what the doctor has prescribed and where we're starting? We're going to start on the upper right. Any questions come to mind for you? What comes to mind for you? All right, let's go ahead and reserve time with Dr. Barr. We're going to block this time just for you. Do you want to do that in the morning or do you prefer afternoons? And then I'm going to pause and they're going to tell me. And then I'm going to find the one that they want and put them in. And then I'm going to re-share with them. Okay, I'm reserving the 9 o'clock with Dr. Barr and you, and we're going to start on that upper right. All while I'm looking at them. I mean, I might have to go to the computer to make the note, but then I'm going to turn around, look in their eye and say, so we've got 9 o'clock on the 15th. Good? And smile, right? Good? And then that helps build that commitment for the appointment.
Great. Thank you so much. Any other questions from our audience? Okay.
Perfect.
Well, thank you so much, Angela, for speaking with us today and answering these questions. We look forward to crossing paths in the future. And thank you so much.
All right. Thank you, Edge. See you
Okay.
soon.
Goodbye.
Bye bye.